Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Apologies, I'm slightly delayed. I was putting a little girl to sleep, and I've still got my food. So, bear with me. So apologies for not being here last time. I was very sick. It really wasn't good at all, but hopefully all better now. And good to go for Christmas. So we're good to go. Okay. So, okay, so I saw some questions coming in. So tonight is question time. So all you have to do is ask you away any question you want, game dev related or whatever, and I'll try and answer as many as I can within the hour that we're live here for. So yeah, that's what you got to do. Put in the chat, and we'll go. Crack open the window a little bit because I'm getting a little bit warm. There we go. Hopefully everyone's doing okay. Happy birthday, KBP. What is that? Got a button on with him. Okay. Okay, so the first question I saw coming up while waiting. I don't know if you ask it now. Oh, Klaus, you asked a question about the third-person character and how to make them do a turret-type turn, like the top half of their body turn. I'm going to take that literally as you mean like a tank. So, in your character and in animation blueprint, you said you're doing the bone transform, so I'm going to do it the same way. There are a few ways of doing this, but I'll do it the same way that you're probably trying to do it, using a transform bone. Okay, so in transform bone, we have to give it the bone we want to transform. So that'd be over here, bone to transform, and we'll do Spino 2. I don't like Spino 1, I find it's too close to pelvis and looks kind of weird. I mean, all of this is going to look weird, but never mind. Then I'm going to go down to rotation and hit to add to existing. Okay. And the rotation space I'm going to feed it is going to be a world space. So I'm going to change it to world there. Compile that. Okay. So as we're only dealing with rotation, I'm just going to have this rotation. Actually, yeah, we'll just drag this out here, and we'll do make rotator. Actually, not make rotator. Sorry. We'll just promote to variable. There we go. That'll do. Okay. So now onto the event graph. The event graph, we are going to use the look at animation function. And in this, you've got to feed it a few things. So first up, you have to give it the current transform of the actor. So we're going to get the pawn and try get pawn owner. Going to get the actor's transform. Plug that in. Now the target position, I'm going to make this thing look at where I'm currently turning my mouse. Okay. So I'm going to do get player controller, get the forward vector, or actually get control rotation. Get control rotation first, and get the forward vector of this. Okay, so we've got the direction we want to go. Now I need to just offset that a little bit, ideally, as I want to look at a target position. So I'm just going to multiply that by a float of like 300 or something. Okay, so that's the vector, and now I need to add that onto my character's location. So get actor location, add these two together. That gives us the target position. Now the look at vector is what is the typical vector that the character is looking at. So which direction is that? Because the mesh is rotated slightly differently from where the character is. So want to make sure that's correct. So all you're going to do is from your try get pawn owner is get the actor's forward vector. And that will just go into there. And we're not using the upper vector, but if you want, you can type it in. It's just 1 in a Z. Now we've got the transform coming out of here. We need to promote that to a variable. Or let's actually break it and then promote the rotation there to this variable. Don't care about the location or the scale. Like that. I'm not sharing my screen, am I? Whoops. Hold on. Ah. You can tell I've been out of it. Hey, there we go. Right, I'll go back to this. I'll do it all again. I'll do it all again. It's fine. My bad. My bad. My bad. Didn't do too much. Okay, so you want the body to turn like a turret. Okay, that's what you asked about. So you're going to use a bone transform. Transform. No. Oh, yeah, you can't drag it from there. You have to do bone transform like this. There you go. And then plug it in. And your bone transform, we're going to do Spino 2 rather than using Spino 1. And when you go down to the rotation, we don't care about translation, just rotation. We'll change this to add to existing. And I'm going to use the world space as that's the kind of value I'm going to feed into it. Okay, so the value it's going in, it's going to expect as a world space. And then promote my rotation here to a variable, which I already done the first time I did this. So there we go, there's the rotation. I'm going to transform that bone. So now we need to get that vector, that rotation vector. So in here, we're going to use the look at function inside the animation blueprint. This is an animation based function. So you have to give it a transform. We can get the pawn owner. And we're going to get the actor transform of the pawn. Like that. Now, as for target position, we're going to get the control rotation and just look basically ahead of where the camera's looking. So I'm going to get player controller. And we're going to get the control rotation. Get that as a forward vector. Multiply that by the range. It doesn't really matter what. I'm going to put in 300. And then we're going to add that to the actor location. So you add these two together. By the way, if you ever find that this thing really annoying you, just go up here and change it to no debug and it won't come up anymore. I don't know why it's on by default, but there you go. And that's going to be our target position. Now the lookout vector is the pawn owner's forward vector. As I mentioned when I didn't share my screen, it doesn't necessarily know what way the mesh has actually been rotated inside the actual actor. So I'm going to use the actor's forward vector as a thing. An up vector, we're not using it, but if you want to type it in, you can do. Peace of mind. It's 1 in the Z. Okay, and then we're going to take the rotation out, break open our transform, and feed it into the rotation. Okay, compile. Right, so let me take a look at this as it is. Now, there's not done yet. There's a few things we need to do. But as I turn around, you can see it goes, woo! Yeah, there's this weird little movement. Okay, which I think is what you're discussing as having an issue on. So the way to fix that is in the animation graph, on the rotation here, we're going to disconnect that, split it, and split this one. I'm going to take the yaw and plug it in. I ignore the roll and pitch. Not entirely done yet. I just want to showcase where that is now. Okay. It ain't too bad. Usually I'd clamp at the axis as well, but that's actually not too bad. Okay. So now you've got like that sort of tank sort of like control where their body twists and turns around a little bit. Yeah. So hopefully that's what you're aiming for. That's what I deciphered from your message anyway. Anyway, next question. Now I'm on. Let's have to go back past all the things people reminded me to look at chat. Next up, we got. Scroll back up here. Sorry, I'm going to eat some bread while I'm here. Alex, could you explain how you would record anti-gravity movement with physics-based actors in a sequencer? You probably use a tape recorder. So, it's been a while since I used it, but essentially, if we go to physics, enable simulate physics on that. So if we were to simulate that, there you go. The tape recorder is, where are you? Virtual production, no. Is in tools. No, hang on, where is it? Cinematics, there you go. Tape recorder. I don't know if this will work, but this is something if you haven't seen this do stuff before. Basically, the tape recorder can record something that happens on your scene, right? So you have to add things to your tape recorder. So you add a source to that. You can add a cube to it. And I hit the record, and it's going to give me a countdown. And then hit simulate. And then stop. Oh. No, why did it do that? Hang on. Oh, wait, I think it got delayed there. Hang on, let me do that again. Do I have to be actually in the scene? No, 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait, I have to push play first. Hold on. Hold on. If I just do this. There you go. We'll do that. 3, 2, 1. Okay, done. Right, so that's take 4. There you go. So browse the asset. Close out. Close out. Oh, wait, it didn't want to do that. Cinematics takes... Take 4, there it is. Okay. So... Go away, sequence curve. So here's this track of it falling. So you can use that if you want to record stuff. So obviously this is only tracking the physics actual of it moving, but you can make it record other things, I guess. Maybe something to experiment with. I'm not entirely certain how you would do it, but I imagine something like this would suffice. I think this is only tracking the... Oh no, it's tracking transform. Let me move that out of the way. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, no, it is actually there. Okay, so yeah, we actually got the animation here. Yeah. And you can make this sequence part of another sequence if you want. Cut it, edit it. So obviously there's a bit where I drag it up here. We'll go there and just... Whoop. Yeah, no. No, hang on. Stop, 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 stop. Why can't I cut that? Hold up. Oh, it's because we're in... no, you should be able to cut that. Can I do that? No, because it's got stuff inside it. So why can't I remove this? Why is it squishing? It should just do it, but I don't know why. Maybe I mean 5.5. I haven't done an animation stuff in 5.5, so did they change the behavior of this? There's no cut tool in here, is there? That I'm missing. No. Don't know. I don't know, it's an element that you could explore if you're trying to record something like that. Just make sure you add the right ones to the right scene. Alright. Can you make the questions appear on the screen? I've experimented to try and making that work. It's not that easy. Especially as I scroll through them, try and catch them. I'll experiment with in future ones and see what we can do. Ben, what's the best way to go about doing offhand and main hand weapons? A lot of people use actors. I was told this wasn't the best. Don't know why. It should be fine. What's the issue you've heard people say about using actors for it? Because there's no reason why it shouldn't be a problem. Oh no, hi. So I can do social integration, but because I scroll up and down the questions to find questions, it's a little bit more difficult to like make it easily go in here. Maybe there's a way we can do it with like a hashtag type thing that can come up and bibbing. I don't know. There's something to work on. How can you increase the LOD range when I'm flying around with a camera? So LOD isn't done by range, actually. It's done by the size of something on the screen. So, and there's nothing you can really do about it without telling the engine to stop doing LOD stuff entirely. But it's done by the size of it on the screen rather than its range of like how far away you are on it. So if you want to increase the LOD range, you can just take off the LODs. Right. That's a thing. I think there's a console command where you can even enable it. LOD. Yeah, so you can force LOD. Okay. So you can force the thing to a lower LED if you want. Back to the weapons question, would actors or static mesh components be more suitable? I think the question above was related to mostly to optimization. That's not going to be like the problem with optimization. No. Yeah, don't worry about it, Ben. Right. Like there's not going to be 1,000,000,001 things on your optimization list before then. Get the game working first. Worry about optimization later. Static meshes, no, not going to be an issue whatsoever. Don't worry about it. Pete, you're getting worried over the wrong things. Don't worry about it. Can you do a tutorial on in-app purchasing one day? Yeah, can do. It's fairly simple. I can even show you. So you have in-app purchase, unless the plugin has been enabled. Oh, it has been enabled. I won't do it now. But there's when to enable the online subsystem, you can access the in-app purchase stuff, and all it is just a code that you feed in from the platform of your choice. Yeah, that's basically it. But I will do a tutorial on it. Hi, do you recommend using virtual textures? I mean, It's, I mean, yeah, to a point. I mean, things like that are it's the same when people say like, do you recommend nanite? Do you recommend megalites? Do you recommend like all these other things? Like, if you can do it, sure. Um, those things will affect optimization as an issue. So it depends on what you want to use it for. Not everything needs it, like at all. So yeah, it depends on it. As classic example of it depends on what you're trying to do. But if I'm making a game and at the start of a game project, I'll do a lot of R&D. So I'll make a list, a technical list of all the things that the game needs to be able to achieve and what it needs to be able to do. And this could be anything like movement, could be texture stuff, could be music stuff, whatever it needs to do. And I'll make a load of test scenarios for that and make sure that what we want to achieve can actually be done before we put it into a whole big package. So experiment like that. Are you going to get the benefits of that? Are you not? Like, do you notice a difference? Yeah, if you don't notice it, no point. So yeah. What might cause your nav mesh to keep disappearing? No idea. Yeah, no idea. Maybe it's not getting loaded. Make sure it's loaded in the outliner. But not entirely certain. It should not disappear. What are your favorite features in Unreal Engine 5.5? I like megalites. I like what they're doing with megalites. That's pretty fun. I say fun. It's nice to have. Pardon me, still got a cough. There's not major things in it that I'll be like, ooh. Megalites. There you go. That's my answer. Next question. Topaz, how are you, Mr. Lady? I am okay now. Is it possible to make a line trace effect? For example, a shotgun. I'm guessing it's a trail. Yeah. So that'd be using like a beam, or you can do it as a very fast particle. Depends what you want to do. We're gonna do a beam. Pretty simple. I recommend starting with the dynamic beam one here. Create that. In fact, actually, I'll put this on the actual the actual gun one. Hang on. Whoop. There we go. Is it possible to save player data to an online database? Yep. Yep. You need to make HTTP post calls, that's all. Which you'll need C++, or you can get a plugin. I've got a plugin for it. It makes stuff a lot easier. But yeah, you can. Okay. So I'm gonna make it this rifle shoot this out, right? Or attach it to the gun or whatever. I'll put it on the rifle. So yeah, we'll make a dynamic beam, create this, and we'll do shot trail. There you go. Okay, and a beam is like a ribbon, but it spawns it all at once. Okay, rather than a ribbon is spawned like a little bit. So the beam is done like this. Okay, and obviously you can change the appearance of it and things like that. But yeah, there you go. Now we can also animate this thing using this too if we want you to. So go to particle update, and we'll actually do particle spawn, do velocity, and in the X here we'll do 2000. Is it gonna work? Why is it not working? Oh, I need to do. Oh no, Self Forces is there. Might need to put that at the top. Put it down. It might be because of the beam. Yeah, okay, it won't work with the beam. So you can either attach it to something and launch it out. The beam, we need to update the beam here. Oh, what's this? Dismiss. When the beam, I'm guessing I have to upgrade. Because if I dismiss this, it's just gonna go, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's not gonna let me do it. Okay. Okay, you can update the beam across, but worst case scenario is you just attach this to something that's fast moving and it'll go along with it. Alternatively, you make it shoot a particle out really, really fast. Either way. It don't matter. But usually the beam end here will be like where your target can be. So you can, if you want to shoot it out really fast like this, we could do something like a lifetime of 0.1. Like that. And then we can then do the beam end here. We can create a parameter for this. Hit lock. And that'd be absolute beam end there, and hit that to hit lock. And absolute because we want to use the world space of this. We don't have to, but it'd be a bit easier. But if I do this to the gun, and when I shoot the gun, oh, it's on a weapon component in it, not there. Oops. Shoot. So rather than shooting that out, I'll do a line trace out. Get owner. Get owner. Get actor location. That's the start point. Get actor forward. My R key on my keyboard for some reason decides to work and then not work. It's really annoying. Multiply that by range. Ooh. And add that on. There you go. Break. And I'm going to do spawn system at location. We're going to choose our shot trail. Location of that, it'll be the start, trace start. Sorry, not end. And then from that return value, I want to get out and do set vector parameter. Position, I guess. Hit lock. And we'll do location there. Yeah. So you could do that. Oh, you have to turn it not to loop. It's just carry on looping. But yeah. You could do that. There's loads of ways you can do it. Yeah. Do you know any plugins to quickly translate or localize text in Unreal Engine? No. obviously you've got the localization dashboard inside of Unreal to help you with this. But as for an all-in-one thing that does it all right there and then, no. Hit up Google, essentially. Mike Green, I have an FPS shooter with a ton of different weapons, projectiles, muzzle effects, etc. What is the best way to organize all of this? I assume Enum. What do you mean organized? Do you mean like they are customizable, like you can swap them in and out? I personally would use a data asset more so than Enum. Enum is pretty basic for that. I can probably get a lot more out of a data asset. But yeah. Have you tried Epic Online Services? Are you planning to make a tutorials about it? Yeah, Mimic is using Epic Online Services, and yeah, it's fine. It works fine. No complaints so far. Yeah, Mimic uses Epic's online services and account services. So they are two different things. The account services is what enables you to do a login screen, basically. And the importance of that means that you can do cross-platform play, because you can link your games together. And have cross not cross platform but cross like friends lists, like you can see each other's see a friends list in Steam all combined, Xbox all combined, blah blah blah. Pardon me. But then you have account online services which does all the matchmaking things that you can do, and stuff like that. Would I contain all the functionality in the player blueprint? I mean, it depends heavily on like your plans for it. Like for example, in here, the template they give you in the first person template, they put it in this blueprint component. The functionality to shoot a gun, but I've put it usually in the actual gun itself. Like you experiment and see what one you like the most. There's no right or like you must do it this way. Do it any way you want. Oh no, hello everyone asking about Unreal, but I want to ask you about you and your feelings. How do you feel yourself? I'm okay. Yeah, I was very, very ill over the past week. About I think it was like 10 days. It was a long time. It really knocked me out. It was like a flu, but then I was like throwing up and it was odd. It was rough going. But it was, most of it, I have a lingering cough, which I always get when I get ill. I get a lingering cough. But other than that, I'm okay. Bit overwhelmed by all the sheer amount of work I've got on my plate. But it's all looking positive and looking good. Looks like I'll probably be going to GDC in March again this year. So if you're at GDC or in San Francisco, we'll do a meetup or something. I might actually do something like more formal as a meetup, because everyone kept bumping into me and asking to meet up. I might actually do like arrange an actual thing where people can meet up and have a hangout and get a drink or something. I'll think about it, and if there's a lot of people interested, then we'll do that. How do you use root motion animations to change the rotation of the character? You just rotate the root. You don't do anything else. Yeah, you don't do anything else. So, I mean, I haven't got any animations in here. What have I got in here that I can use? Yeah, go. I'll do it in here. Hang on. I'll duplicate the idle here, and I'll add a root motion to this idle. So I'll just go to the root here, add key, go over here, rotate it around, add key. it's done it the wrong way around. Easy way around that. Go to the halfway point. Roughly, I'm not worried about it too much. Inaccurate. Add key. Add key. No, it's doing a flippy thing. Ooh. Oh, it'll do for the purposes of what we're trying to do here. I won't piss about it too much. Create a montage for that. But we'll make this thing root motion. Like so. And play montage. No one. Pretty certain it has a default slot on it. I don't know if I actually looked. Oh yeah, take this off. Yeah, it does a default slot. Cool. Yeah, there you go. Just rotate the root. If you find it's not working, your root's probably not rotated. So check that out. The custom movement node. Yeah, so it's kind of like an open slot for you to do your own thing on it. There's no magic button for it to do anything. Like you, it's pretty basic. It doesn't really do much. So, not custom movement mode. Set movement mode here to custom, like that. And with the custom, you can pass through a value. It doesn't really matter what. You can put whatever you like in here. And then that gets called on an event. So you have an event for movement. I can't remember what it's called now. On movement mode changed. Yeah. And when you pass it through a custom, it's these two bottom nodes that come into it. And it literally, you do as you need to do. Like, there's no, like, make it move or anything like that. It won't move because the stuff over here is using this stuff over here. If you wanted to do different things, you need to store that value somewhere else. Yeah. So ask yourself, first of all, is what you're doing makes sense for custom movement? It doesn't really do anything else. Yeah, it's just a way to identify if you're in any of these ones or a unique one. But everything else you need to work out manually from all of this. Q2, how do you make a gamepad work with UI items? I've seen tons of tutorials on UI menus, but no one seems to cover that at all. I believe I've done videos on that. Double check, I'm pretty certain I've done videos on that. If not, I'll put it on the list of things to do as a cool thing to do. Frank, were you able to get the multiplayer aspect of your game working only using blueprints? Yes. Hello Ryan, how can I make unlimited save slots for save game? They already are. Just give them different names every single time. And either way, give it a unique name. Just use a date and time as the name. But there's no limit to it. Is it possible to make the camera follow the character idle animation? Huh? What? I'm not entirely certain I understand. So, do you mean like it move along with the things like that? If you wanted to do stuff like that, you can attach it to a certain bone. Things like that, I guess. So, for example, we'll say when movement here is stopped or completed, i.e. with idle, we can attach Camera boom first. Attach actor to component to component. Components to the mesh. And you choose whatever bone you want to attach it to. Yeah, so I'll do head. There you go. We're going to keep relative, all the rest of that. Just put that there. And we'll do a completed of that. Yeah, I'll do that. You may have to with the camera boom if you're doing a third-person game. Is you have to turn off the use pawn control rotation whilst this is true. Okay, so use pawn control rotation. Turn that off, and then you want to turn it back on the started. So started, turn it back on, and then we want to attach the camera boom to the capsule collision, not the mesh. There you go. Okay. Maybe. Well, kind of working, but it's not. It's animating. Right. So something along those lines. But then I move again. Yeah. I should have told it to keep the rotation as keep world. Rotation keep world. Yeah. So now it's going to move with the head. I guess that's what you wanted to try to do. It was disturbing. You're welcome. Brian, if I add an environment pack to my project but only use a few assets, does the package game have all the unused stuff? No. It only packages what it is needing. So, for example, Mimic's project file is about 300 gigabytes. The actual game itself is about 8. So it only packages what it needs. So don't worry about it. Totally okay. Let me go back through here. I'm actually going to have a bite of my last bit of bread before it goes a bit too stale. I don't think I had COVID. No. John Harris. When doing a sphere trace for IK placement, what are the advantages and disadvantages of doing it in Blueprint and passing it to Anime Instance or doing the trace directly in Control Rig? Not much really, just make it easier for you. It's all in one place then, in a Control Rig. You don't have to do the whole thing of going from Blueprint to Anime Instance. You can just do it just a Control Rig. No biggie. Because you can pass any kind of variable you like through to the Control Rig, so it's not. Oh, God, I'm gonna drop my bed. So no big issue. No, Lottie, it doesn't. No, it doesn't package. I think everyone's blown away by that knowledge. No, it doesn't package it. No, it packages what it needs. Um, Asmund, would you recommend having the AI components on the controller or the character? I needed to have the controller damageable. Okay, first of all, you can't damage a controller. If you mean a character, yeah. But yeah, damage events don't work on controllers. But AI, as in AI components, classic answer, it depends. I personally put them on a controller, but evaluate each moment as it comes, really. Sterling, complete noob with no programming background. How to get good with blueprints and build a solid foundation. Funny you should say that. So coming like tomorrow, maybe later today, on Patreon at least, there is going to be a little series of videos talking about how to understand blueprinting and Unreal Engine from the foundational level. So not going to give you like a tour of the UI on how to use the engine, but it's going to talk about like how do we actually approach blueprinting, how do we actually understand it better, those sort of things. So we've got about 4 or 5 videos of that coming out. They've been edited, so and uploaded. So I just need to make a thumbnail for them. So probably tomorrow, and uploaded to Patreon. So they'll be there soon, and then yeah. Can you, Thomas is asking, can you give a quick tip on transition from first-person player to level sequence where the first person animated and there had to be initial position? Would you make it walk to initial position? You can do. Another thing you can do, like you combine that with like blending of stuff too. But usually you take it to walk to a fixed position in the world. Like usually you can do like a thing like AI takeover and just so the AI can take control and move it to a location. But you can also do like blend outs also with level sequences if you didn't know. So you can rather than cut the camera, you can blend stuff to it. So it's a good way to blend from like a first person point of view to a third person point of view. If you're doing a cut scene, for example. But yeah. I've normally just told him to walk into a position with some AI. But if you wanted to, like, say, have this, it's going really slow, transition to this smoothly rather than cut to it, you can take it to blend. So if I just add a camera to it, let's go back here. Camera. And then on the camera cuts, you right click and go Can Blend. And now you got this little yellow arrow, really tiny thing. You drag that out, you get a blended thing in here. And basically, the camera will blend to that camera. Just make sure the camera's using the same FOV and things like that as your character, otherwise it'll look weird. So a good way of doing that, if you don't know the settings for this, you turn off constraint aspect ratio, it gets rid of the bars. And FOV, you'll find the focal length is 35. I found that 15 is more natural to what the game starts off with. So do that. And you also got blend out as well, so you can blend the camera in and out to this motion quite easily. Yeah. But yeah. Hello, new episode of Action RPG Tutorials when? I did actually start recording something for that, but I stopped because I weren't happy with which direction it was going in. I felt like I was just retreading the same ground as other videos, so I'm trying to find out what people would need to know and going from that. Because I don't want to go through and make a whole nother inventory system tutorial. I don't want to go through and make a whole nother equipment system. Like, I don't need to go through and rehash the same things again. Otherwise, that's how we end up with like 1,000 video tutorial series. And I don't want that. Yeah, I don't know. So it depends what people really need to know that we don't already have videos for in regards to that. But yeah. Lotlab, how should I implement replicated variables like stamina and food in C++ and make them secure? Okay, well I can't do it right now because I don't have the Visual Studio going or like a source version of the engine to show. But you need to if you've done it before in like blueprinting, it's a very similar sort of setup where you got to give it the keywords for replication and rep notify if you want to do rep notify. I can't remember what they actually are, the keywords. Let me have a look. We'll go back over here. Can't remember what it was now. Yeah, U property is just replicated, and I'm guessing rep notify is just rep notify. Yeah, it's just I don't know. So come over there. Rather than go through the whole process, we'll just do it in here. So you put in like the U property so you can see it, and then you put in brackets like its various properties it has. So in this case, it'll be replicated, and then you have the class of it, and then you put in like the type, so float, and then you'd assign it to the name that you want to give it to. So I don't know, stamina. I think you said, wasn't it, stamina? So it'd be something like that. That's how you define it. And then if it's when anything's replicated, the server, if you want something to change on it, the server has to be the one that replicates it and changes it. So the clients can't do it. So make sure it's only happening on the server side of things. Okay. But yeah, that's basically it. I'm not very loud. I should be. I'm peaking. Am I not? Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the meters. The meters are fine, so you should be able to hear me just fine. Okay. How would you create the inventory system on your character wearing different clothing, like showing live changes in outfits in the inventory, without having to duplicate your character, like without having to put it in under the level or just use your already playable character? Yeah, you can. It'd be exactly the same. You use a reference to your player character rather than a reference to the thing that's underneath the map. There's like no difference whatsoever. So just follow the equipment series, for example, and don't worry about the wardrobe. So whenever you're referencing the wardrobe, just like reference the player character instead. That's all. There's nothing special about it. Ziatu, does Unreal do frustum culling by default? Yep, and I can prove it to you if you want. So if I go over here, oh, I've just got this bloody thing. And down here I'm gonna do R. Oh, is it gonna let me do it? Hold on, it's thinking about it. There you go. Freeze. No, what's it called? Freeze. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's just freeze rendering. Just do freeze rendering. And basically, now rendering is frozen. Everything behind me is now cold out. Obviously, collision's still there, but it's no longer rendered. So you can see it doing just that flash from colouring there. I'm going to take off that idle thing. It's quite annoying. There you go. How the dithering shader works. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Dithering is basically a cheap way of rendering transparency. Obviously, it doesn't look as good because you're dithering rather than actually doing anything else. Obviously, you don't have to use it for transparency, but it's most commonly used for that. So you change this to masked, and the reason why we want masked rather than translucent, besides it being just dithering, translucent is actually quite expensive to do. The reason why is because if it's got render a pixel behind another pixel, it's got rendered two. It's got rendered a pixel in front and a pixel behind. But with dithering, the pixels aren't rendered like that. They're rendered like every other pixel is rendered. So the one behind is rendered, the one in front is rendered, the one behind is rendered, the one in front is rendered, and it does that the whole entire way. And therefore, it's a lot more efficient. Okay, so you have the dither node. I don't know why things are going very slow. And you put this in your opacity mask. There you go. So now it looks transparent, but it's actually made of tiny dots. Yeah, and that's basically it, really. And I say this makes it a lot more efficient. So, for example, I'll put it on this cube here. Do that. And I'm going to do something again, another material. And I'm going to make this material be transparent, or translucent, rather. And we'll put in transparency of 0.5. Okay. So similar sort of effect that we're trying to do here. We've got that one, and we've got that one. And this one, I'm going to put on that object over there. Oh, did I not compile that? Apply. There you go. Okay, so now this one's dithered and this one's transparent. As you can see, it's slightly different in its design, but the options you get for the optimization you get is a lot better. Oh my god, click. There we go. So if I do shader complexity, you'll see the difference this makes. Yeah? Red, bad, green, good. Okay? And you get a similar effect. So dithering is often used as a way to make that a lot cheaper. If a particular platform or game can't handle all the transparent objects, you use dithering instead. Dithering on the whole process volume, so it affects the whole world. You want the whole world to be dithered? Like what, transparently dithered, or just when you use dithering for everything? No trick, Brian. No, I don't think so. Q-Choose, the only way you can do it is with C++. Easy way answer, though, is there's a free plugin on the marketplace. Use that. I'll use it. It's a short, quick way of doing it. It's fairly customizable. But otherwise, yeah, you can't do it unless you're in the source engine, source code of the game. But there we go. We're gonna have to end it there, unfortunately, as time is up, and I've got to go and do a private session. But thank you very much for your support during the live stream, and also support elsewhere on subscribing to the channel and supporting us on Patreon. Again, if you want to support us on Patreon, head over to patreon.com/Riley. I think there's a link in the description. Follow that. We've got some videos coming out. I say tomorrow probably, all about understanding Unreal Engine 5 blueprinting a lot better and build an understanding of it. So hopefully that'll be out tomorrow, and people can start shoring up how to understand Unreal Blueprint. Other than that, we're back again, hopefully live tomorrow. Fingers crossed, touch wood, all the rest of that. And I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow yet. Figure that one out. And then next week will be our last live stream of the year. So we'll probably do some hanging out. Hopefully, either build a Mimic going. We can play some Mimic with some live playtests. Hopefully. But we'll see how things go. Anyway, that'll do for me tonight. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye.